Yesterday, NRM Electoral Commission Chairman Tanga Odoi announced that the party had nominated 37 candidates to fill the 2 vacancies in the East African Legislative Assembly, EALA. The EALA MPs whose posts fell vacant include Dennis Namara, who will represent Buyaga West, and James Kakooza, who will represent the elderly in the Ugandan Parliament. However, despite the NRM nominating its candidates, James Kakooza stated that he still considers himself an EALA MP even after winning the seat. In response, Tanga Odoi said the party's lawyers have advised them on the process for filling the vacancies.
So it means if I was elected, I must complete the process of election of swearing in, and I become part and parcel of the assembly of the party state. But if I'm not, I'm now in the jurisdiction of the East African Legislative Assembly, not until I take oath from Uganda.
We shall now forward the names, and if our parliament chooses that they are doing election, that's within their mandate. So Honorable Kakooza's interpretation was that there was no need to do it because they are just MPs elect. Our interpretation by our directorate is that the current parliament is the college. The 11th parliament is the college.
Tanga also noted that 3 MPs had resigned from their posts in the 11th parliament to contest for the EALA seats. However, James Byarugaba, another candidate for the same seat, argued that it was unfair for MPs to contest for these positions while still serving in the 11th parliament.
3 members of parliament, the current parliament, resigned and tendered in their resignation letters to the Electoral Commission of the party for them to qualify to participate in this process.
Because people shouldn't vote people because of friendship, because they have been together with them in the 11th parliament. They should look at a person who indeed is going to do the work.
The candidates pledged to focus on promoting a common market, customs union, monetary union, and political federation as pillars of the East African community. But questions remain about why these pillars matter to the everyday lives of the people in the region.
As we continue losing money, because when you come from Uganda with Ugandan shillings and you cross to Kenya, it means Ugandan shillings have to be exchanged into Kenyan shilling. If you cross to Tanzania, money has to be exchanged with the Tanzanian shilling. Now our traders lose money through the forex exchange, and we cannot develop as a region as long as we are still holding different currencies. So we need to advocate for a common currency, and like I said, we need to advocate for a common central bank that can regulate inflation, regulate prices, and also other things.
Regarding political federation among member states, candidates discussed how its implementation could drive development and unity within the community.
Integrated socially, the market that we are yearning for, the trade union that we are yearning for, and the political federation will eventually be realized.
Is an ingredient for socio-economic transformation. Where there is no peace, Uganda will have been able to develop because we have had uninterrupted peace for some time. We need this within the East African region. We cannot develop when we still have conflicts in Congo. We cannot develop when we still have conflicts in Somalia. So we need, urgently, we need to have an East African army that can pacify the region.
Although EALA has existed and passed laws, some of which have been implemented by member countries, while others have been ignored, the MPs emphasized that legislation should reflect the interests of the countries they represent.
Bills that are passed out of excitement. We want bills that are evidence-based, that respond to the actual needs of the East African citizens, but also that are implementable by the member states.
The NRM's Central Executive Committee is expected to meet soon to decide on the final candidates for the EALA, who will then be elected by the 11th Parliament. Juma Kiria, NTV.